So, Christy,
Yes.
completely off the cuff, tell me all
Yeah.
about the format.
I will tell you about the format. I have been a fan of the format since 2003, when one of my friends in college was like, hey, you need to listen to this song, which was like the early demo of Dog Problems, the title track of their second album. Anyway, I went to their reunion concert in Phoenix on Saturday. It was the greatest night of my life.
And it's been the fullness of her personality ever since.
It has taken over every waking moment of my life ever since, which
is
fine with me.
She has a format shirt on.
I do.
It looked like the original question before we pressed record was, I said, are they doing the Taylor Swift thing with the bracelet?
With the bracelet. So this is what I was going to explain is that we joined, there's a Facebook fan club format group thing that
Christy's in it, guys.
I'm in it.
In case you question that at all.
I also you've seen this, but I've had a format poster in my house for like the past 7 years. Like it's
no one doubts it. I just didn't know that we were it would keep going for so long.
For so long. We're very excited, Leah.
I know. I'm with
very
you.
Exciting time.
I'm a part of the fandom too, not this format fandom, but fandom.
Because they broke up in 2009, and I still remember that day. I remember I was driving to seminary. I was on my way to class, and
she hit a tree after it.
And I was devastated. She did it. I was so, like, it was the worst day. It was like when when the Beatles broke up and I was very upset. But
I want to be sure to emphasize she just compared the format to the Beatles breaking up.
I feel comfortable with that analogy.
I don't at all.
I feel entirely
I don't even like the Beatles. I don't feel comfortable with it. Anyway.
So we joined my friend Jen and I, who were two of the three of us who went to this, like the group of us that went to the concert this weekend. Jen and I had bought tickets to New York as well, just in case we didn't get the Phoenix ones, because we were very concerned. And so we needed to sell the New York tickets. And so we joined this Facebook group in order to do that. But then the Facebook group has also been very, as you can imagine, very active with like information and all sorts of things. And one of the things that was in there was the merch that they were going to be selling. And somebody else posted that we should make friendship bracelets a la Taylor Swift, right?
Yeah.
This is not entirely shocking that there is a lot of crossover between Swifties and format fans. And so they were like, we should also do this.
And beer camp, apparently, because we're doing it for beer camp.
And beer camp, yeah. So I've been on a friendship bracelet making adventure now. I made 16 friendship bracelets for the format concert. So we each got 5. I also made my mom one for a thank you for going to the merch pop-up and getting us all of our stuff, because
I love how confused she was. That's probably how I would be if you sent me to that thing, because I'd be like, for reference, listeners, I did also listen to the format, but it was probably in 2003, and that's where they stayed for me. And I had the one album,
Interventions and Lullabies.
There you go, sure. And so Christy would play me songs, and I was like, I know that one, I don't know that one. So I was very wrapped up in this one album. But I thought that that's kind of where they stayed too. I thought that they stayed in 2003, and no, they didn't.
Not for us. They did not. Well, and if you remember,
they live with you.
Early listeners may remember that when you and I were doing our top 5 perfect albums, that Dog Problems, the album Dog Problems, was one of my top 5 perfect albums. So
that's right.
Anyway, so we sent my parents to the merch pop-up in Phoenix. They were very sweet. Also, I need you to know, initially my mom was like, there's a line, we have to wait in line. And she was kind of grumpy about it. And then when they got out and she called me and she was like, okay, so we got your stuff. And I was like, okay, how was it? She was like, for 2 days raving about how nice everyone was. She was like, Christy, they were so nice and they were so well organized and people kept like helping us with things. And I guess somebody said, so you must be buying this for someone else. And she was like, it was just so sweet how they
understand like the pop-up merch. This is a genuine question. Because why didn't they just sell it at the concert?
They did. So there's store slash the label that the format was with is
Okay.
based in Phoenix. They have a store there, so they did
Oh,
pop up.
okay, that makes more sense. I was just
They
like,
only did that in Phoenix. They didn't have the
I
pop
was
up
gonna
for New
say like,
York.
also Taylor Swift did that, but she's Taylor Swift.
Yeah, no, they only did it in Phoenix, and again, it was at the store. They had. I'm a little bit sad about this, but they had somebody come in and do airbrush T-shirts on Friday, and my parents firstly went on Thursday. Also, I would not have been like, get me an airbrush T-shirt, because that's a
Salem.
level of style trust I don't have with my mom. But
I actually have quite a few airbrush T-shirts that are really funny.
they were really cool. I saw pictures of them and I was like, damn, that would have been awesome. But like, none of us were in Phoenix for the Friday pop-up.
I have one with my name that has a unicorn that I still have. Now I'm going to take a picture of it.
I'm very excited.
And it's very 90s. It looks like Lisa Frank threw up on my on the front.
I always look, I never got to have an airbrush T-shirt, and I always really wanted one.
You didn't live by enough redneck beaches.
There were very few opportunities for me to get one when I was a kid. But so my mom is now like kind of a fan, and they kept asking questions about the format, my parents, and then I told her that they're going to be on the Tonight Show the same day as Taylor Swift. And I told my mom, and she was like, okay, well, we'll have to check it out.
Bless her heart. She's like,
adorable.
What
She's
is
also
happening?
very confused about the fact that my friends and I all flew to Phoenix for this show.
Also,
because
I'm with your mom. I'm with Kathy.
That's it's a level of fandom.
It is.
But I have it. But we have all agreed that we essentially have joined a cult, and we're happy about it. I mean, again, this is not new. I've been a big fan for 22 years. It's not like
you're just a long-term cult member now.
It's just that their last album was so long ago, and we didn't know it was going to be the end, right? Like the last time I went to a concert, it was just like one of the many concerts I went to in a very small venue.
Would you have wanted to know, though? I don't think I would want.
No,
I don't like knowing when things end at.
Yeah, but I feel like now, because they did the reunion and all of this stuff is happening, everybody is like, oh my God, like we've missed this for 20 years and we're just so excited. So you're
about to get a whole boatload of Swifties.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
Whether you want it or not.
I don't know how I feel about it, but
I mean, they're very excitable, and that's good.
They are.
And they buy stuff, but it's just going to make it's like moving to Denver. They're going to make your life harder.
They are going to make my life harder. It's going to be harder to get things. I am excited, though, because look, this is 90% I feel confirmed, but that there is a new album coming. So we're real jazzed. I'm going to order that thing.
Did they say they were coming out with a new album?
So they played.
What is that? You really?
I'm telling you, I don't even care.
Salem, please stop, buddy. I wanted him to come in because it's spooky season.
Like this
spooky
for
season.
Anyone else.
But he hears your voice and he wants to get into all of my closets because he thinks
Salem's like,
that my cat has extreme like human anxiety. He was a COVID cat, so he just really. So when he hears other voices, he just immediately retreats in. But he knows how to open doors, unfortunately, and drawers. So he just is trying to crawl inside of a hole. You said you've not done this for, and it's okay.
It's not like I've ever been a fan like this for anybody else, so it's a very new experience.
The Beatles?
I love the Beatles, but I didn't fly across the country to see them. I mean,
well, because
they're dead,
they didn't exist.
I do love the Beatles. I mean, I love other bands. There are other bands that I've been a big fan of. It's just like, I get to, at least for the moment, experience what it's like for Swifties, and I am enjoying it. And also, again,
it's fun.
The most wonderful, like the concert itself was phenomenal. The format was perfect. Nate did a great job. Sam is still Sam. It's so wonderful. But also,
and Sam,
he's just so like chill. Like nothing, he's very nonplussed, like this is Sam. But everybody there was just so happy that it was like Jen described it as a big hug. It was like just the most lovely place. There were these two guys in front of us that they had their arms around each other. I sent you that picture. They had their arms around each other and they were like swaying, and then they would cheers us, and it was just the happiest.
It probably isn't once too. probably a one-time thing in the sense of like, and this is not me being cynical. I do lean that way, but I've seen this happen with Frightened Rabbit as well, I'm a big fan of. But like once they got on like the American circuit, the shows weren't it wasn't the same anymore.
Well, and I told you,
and probably after that they go on with Taylor Swift, that probably will happen. Yeah. But it's nice that you got to experience it at the time.
I assume, I was telling you earlier when we were talking, when Fun got really big, it was not the same experience going to their concerts as it was when they were much smaller. But also, like,
you were at Red Rocks. I saw the picture, just in case you wonder if I stalk you. Because yesterday you're like, I don't know where I was, and I was like, she was at Red Rocks because I saw the pic.
There were these guys that got into a fight in front of us. It was like a fist fight.
At a fun concert?
Yeah, at a fun concert. But it was like a lot of frat boys. There was a very like frat boy feel to the Fun audience, which did not exist with the format. And so, and also like the nostalgia and just the excitement and everything that this concert was, like, you're not going to have that again if they're just going on tour. I'm still going to go. Like, don't
No, of course. You do. Like,
and I'm still going to love it. But like the essence of this show was so specific to what it was, that I don't expect it to be recreated at other shows, but it was fantastic. But
I mean, like I said, it just changes it, I guess. Like I'm thinking specifically about Frightened Rabbit. Like I also went to a Neutral Milk Hotel, who's my favorite band. They only had 2 albums though, and the guy was very mentally unwell, and we know we will never get another album. But then in some ways, I think like in the Airplane Over the Sea, at least, like it's on most lists of like the best albums of all time, like Paste and all of that. And I'm like, maybe would they be what they are if they had had many albums? Like there are some artists that like benefit from that, like Taylor Swift. I think a good example. She's gonna write music until she can't, and that helps her like legendary status. But I'm wondering if Neutral Milk Hotel's legendary status is they put out one
scarcity.
album.
The scarcity helps. Yeah, I mean, like Format only has 2 other albums. Well, they have the 2 full albums. There's another album called B-Sides and Rarities, which isn't like necessarily a full album. It has some like alternate versions of some of the songs that are on.
I love that you put out 2 albums and you're like, here's the rarities, and here's the redos of
the B-Sides and Rarities version. Though, like the B-Sides and Rarities album is so much fun because there's a song on there called "Does Your Cat Have a Mustache?"
Ooh.
There's a song called "I Am an Ape Man," which one of my bracelets says "I am an ape man," because I wanted to make sure everyone knew that I'm a deep cut fan, not just a hits fan.
I mean, that's fair. The hipster says you have to.
B-sides,
not
just anyway. But it was fantastic.
This is the most you'll ever see of my cat ever.
I know. Look at Salem. Oh, we're gonna have to post all of this footage right here.
The baby. He's a baby. He's a big. He's a big boy baby. Can I grab you?
He says, "Only if you let me crawl inside your soul." He is so big.
He is. He's not as big as Kylo. He's not the biggest. Look at the lot. Look at the.
Okay. I have many pictures of this. Anyway, so that was my weekend. I was in Phoenix. I had a spiritual experience.
She did. She truly did. Welcome to Theology on the Rocks, where Christy has found a new god.
I have converted
to the format. Welcome to spooky season, where Salem says hello.
Salem says hello. Penny
where
says,
you going, boy?
Get out of my house.
Ow. This episode, Salem has claws. Oh yeah, no, I'm super excited. I was with a friend last night, and when I came home, Stuart had put up all of the Halloween decorations outside, which is exciting.
Mm-hmm.
I wait till October 1st, but we all know. This is Leah's season. Some people are Christmas people. Good. You'd think, based on the amount of theology we write. But no.
I like Christmas decorations, but I don't really care about the holiday itself. I want to do other things. I want the decorations and the twinkly lights, and I want to go to a Christmas market, and I want to wear a lot of beanies. None of this happens in my life anymore, but those are the things I want.
I was like, I want you to wear a beanie in just Tampa, just downtown Tampa. I
just
want you to
hanging out wearing a beanie. Every time one of my students shows up with a beanie on, I'm like, what is happening to you? Like, that is all sweat. All of that underneath that beanie is just pure sweat.
Also, I am 72 today. It was kind of cool.
That's nice for you.
Well, I am in North Carolina, Christy. It's not the same as Florida over there.
It's not the same. I'm excited. You're gonna see me in my like element in Minnesota, because I am gonna have a beanie on.
You're gonna see me in hell.
Just all of the time. I'm gonna be like, you're never gonna see the top of my head.
I'm gonna be like, what is this stuff on the ground? I hate it. Get me out of here, please. I was like that in Colorado. I was like that
on the ground. It's October. It's not.
It's Minnesota, Christy. It's Minnesota.
I know, but...
It's up. It's really up there in my southern child brain. Salem, you're good.
Do you think that it just snows year-round
everywhere? Just everywhere. You go to like Missouri and above, and it's just pure ice caps up there.
Missouri and above.
Yep. Ice caps across the whole upper Midwest.
Oh my gosh.
And I hate it. I don't, and I don't hate you people, you good people who live there, but I am not.
She hates your weather.
I do, and I'd admit that. I don't. It's not a friend of mine. Now, if you want someone to drive you through a tornado or a hurricane, I'm your gal. I got you. Torrential rain. You almost
just fell off the couch.
Totally fine, but put some ice on the ground. And one, I'm gonna fall because I'll probably have flip flops on, and the other is I don't know how to like drive or do anything in it.
I wouldn't make you.
You wouldn't get the opportunity.
I would be like, Leah's not gonna drive. We're not gonna.
I would just be like, I need to Uber and find someone who has a high rating in such conditions. Also, today is the start of our Salem. Jeez, what you doing, baby? I love you. Stop it. Today is the start of our new season. We are in season 3 of Theology on the Rocks.
Season 3. I can't believe we made it to season 3.
Salem can't either, honestly.
Salem can't.
He's just like, wow, like get me into a closet. People are all trying to come out of the closet. Salem is actively trying to get
trying to go back into it.
Back into the closet. He didn't want to be left alone. He's a testament, by the way, to people who are like, I need to get another animal/baby human because the other one's going to be lonely. He's going to look at those people and say, you're wrong.
Yeah.
I would have been
he's like,
just fine.
I remember my life as the only child, and it was miraculous. And then
it was beautiful.
These two ding-dongs were like, let's adopt everything that exists.
It's true. It's true. Odin's still here. So
I was going to say, how many cats do you have at the moment, Leah?
I can't talk about it. I always use the line that I couldn't have more than Taylor Swift, and right now I do. So I'm just going to leave it there. So today we are drinking, I said champagne, and Christy went Prosecco. And I was like, Prosecco. Because we are celebrating season 3.
Cheers.
Cheers. Ding. And also, I lost a bet, so I have to wear this Ravens shirt because Stuart had to pick a team in Scotland to support because he wanted to watch NFL, and for reasons he told us, and I can't actually remember. I think it just was the team he saw, and he was like, yeah, he started supporting the Ravens. Well,
Baltimore
all
Ravens.
of you know, if you watch my Geekology videos, I'm a diehard Georgia fan and a passive Falcons fan. And so I lost a bet because Georgia lost to Alabama. I'm just going to get Georgia loses to Alabama tattooed on my forehead.
I feel
forever.
Slightly bad about this because I said to you at some stage this season, like, I don't think you should be afraid of Alabama anymore.
We shouldn't have.
And you were like, just wait. And then I saw that you guys had lost, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, and we lost by your favorite, a freaking field goal. That's what we lost by. And they dropped a pass in the end zone. He dropped it. He had it in his hand and dropped it. And it's funny though, because there's this meme that's going around that's like, Georgia needs an exorcism from Alabama. And I will say this, like, a lot of the videos and stuff going around, a lot of commentators who are not even Georgia fans think Kirby Smart is probably the best coach in college football. Yeah. I agree. I think he is. I think he's a great coach. I know you are, but I'm not alone. So. But that being said, they all say when we play them, it's like he's not even the same human anymore. He just like, and I agree. There's just something within him that like, and we all thought it was Nick Saban, which makes sense because Nick Saban is a supernatural figure, actual warlock. But now we realize that it's just the team, you know. And there's plenty of other, like Texas's coach Sark, like there's plenty of other coaches that were under Saban. So Kirby was under Saban. He learned everything from Saban. So we thought, well, it makes sense. He's not going to beat him. It's like if we did a theology off with one of our students. If we don't win that, what did we even do? You know,
right? That would.
But anyway, now it's just a thing. But you understand, Ohio State, Michigan's the same. Like, you are supposed to lose to them. You aren't supposed to lose to them at all this year.
And, like if we lose to them this year, oof. But also, we might.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be very worried about that game because we lost to them last year, and they sucked last year.
They did,
and we won the national championship last year. So, like, we had no business losing to Michigan.
We lost to Alabama and went on to win the national championship. Because now that we have the extended playoff, it used to be we would lose to Alabama, and then unless we made it to the SEC championship, and then we'd lose to them again, inevitably. So we'd always be out. Like, once we played Alabama, it was done. And now it's like, because of the playoffs, it's possible. Like, I watched that game and it sucked and I hated it. But I was like, you know, it's okay, which makes me feel a little bit better.
That's good.
Yeah. So
okay,
we'll see.
Anyway, so you lost a bet and you're wearing the Baltimore Ravens shirt, and it looks
Stuart's
amazing
team.
on you.
Thank you. We discovered it's actually cream and not just dirty, which is great to know. So yeah, he picked them, and he's like a big, what's it? That guy fan.
Is it Lamar Jackson?
That guy.
Jackson. Yeah, that's appropriate.
And now I think they're doing okay, right? They're winning.
They are. Well, they are, but they lost to Kansas City, and I was pretty pissed about that.
Oh. Well, we lost to the Carolina Panthers in Charlotte. They blew us out.
It's a beautiful day.
It was a day of like, take the two teams who have been crushed the most and just have them play. I feel like we should just get a bye from each other. Like, it's already sad enough. We were looking at tickets, Christy.
At least you didn't tie. At least it didn't end in a tie.
It didn't. But I will tell you, we were looking at tickets on the day. It was 2 hours away from the game starting. Yeah. That was down the road. And it was $40 for it.
It was $40. I repeatedly tell you that when the Broncos play Carolina in Carolina, it will be cheaper for me to buy all three of us tickets to that game and fly up there than it would be for me to go to a Broncos game in Denver. So
that's fair.
For my just one singular ticket in Denver.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I know. That's fine. I think I wait for the day. I didn't go see this game though, so I'm probably pretty happy I didn't. People were at the game and kept sending me videos, and I was like, "Y'all, I'm watching on the TV. I can see what's happening." But I think they were just because there's bragging and then there's shock, and everyone was like, oh, "God," and I was like, "Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know."
Yeah.
Anyway, so today we are talking about the summer that we had here in the USA and all of the things that happened and all the stuff that's going on in the world. Stuart, I hung out with a friend last night and made some silly choices relating to alcohol, and he asked me if I wanted a Tylenol, and I said, he said, "Do you want some autism with your Tylenol?" And I said, it's actually a good intro into what we're talking about. It is a good intro.
And also, like, sure, because maybe I would, I don't know, do math better or something.
Play some music.
Play music. I don't know.
Make some dick rockets and
have different skills than I
be a billionaire.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Let's say it was an eventful summer
I
slash
woke up.
fall. I
I
mean,
woke up every day feeling like
it's every day,
it
and
was
it just
well, it
keeps
is every
happening.
day.
It is every
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
It is not. In fact, it is not. I think I would say it's getting considerably more
Yeah.
uh, world burning ish.
Yes.
The government is currently shut down,
It is currently
which
shut down.
we're just going to go ahead and say is because the Republicans are being toddlers and won't work with anyone. But
And the Democrats are not. They aren't going to go along with their stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I, as much as I don't like a government shutdown, I don't feel great about it, like what's happening, but I also understand what the Democrats are saying. Like, we're not going to just keep, like falling in line with you all. Like, we're gonna take a stand, and I feel like they should do that far more frequently.
Yes.
And so, like, good that they're doing it. Unfortunate that it causes the government to shut down and people lose wages and things like that. I
100%.
absolutely not.
But I think there had to be a pause somewhere because it was just getting to the point where every single day it felt like the current administration was just like doing more things and
more, and
going against the Constitution, going against what they promised. Like there was a thing that Tim Whitaker put out that I saw from New Evangelicals. It was like Trump tweeting about not knowing about that Project 2025, and then him tweeting today that, or recently, that he's going to go meet with the creator,
architect for it,
the architect of it, and it's like, so you did know?
You do know.
Yeah, I mean, or you do know now.
He was, like we all knew he was lying he lies about everything. It's actually illogical to assume that he's ever telling the truth, right? Right. Just standard. He's been doing this since 2015, if not much earlier. I just didn't care prior to 2015, but
yeah.
So like we're aware of that, but I do think one of the things, as you and I were kind of talking about what we wanted to chat about, is that I kept thinking about the phrase speaking truth to power. And that this is a phrase that I think gets thrown out quite a lot without really sitting with what it means. So I looked it up because I wanted to make sure that I had like good. I did my research.
You did your research.
I did my research.
You got a footnote.
We're good academics, and it comes from the Quakers.
The
Quakers, particularly in their desire for nonviolence and in the USA, right? Like this is really particular to how Quakers have interacted with the United States. So this is they have a statement on Quaker.org.
For ref. Footnotes.
So
footnote alerts.
And it's got a kind of explanation from what they're saying here. And they say it is the effort that is made to speak from a place of willingness to risk. So like you're not just yelling and then protecting yourself, right? Or you're not only talking when it's safe to do so, or making concessions in what you're saying so that you don't lose during it. But they say like you have to be able to risk things. And they said they speak to power in three senses. So they're describing power in three ways: to hold high places in our national life and bear the terrible responsibility of making decisions for war and peace. So people who do that. To the American people, who are the final reservoir of power in this country and whose values and expectations set the limits for who exercise authority. And then to the idea of power itself and its impact on the 20th century life. And then they say that when you're talking about what truth means, they say our truth is an ancient one, that love endures and overcomes, that hatred destroys, and that what is obtained by love is retained, and what is obtained by hatred proves a burden. And I felt like when we're thinking about what the Democrats are doing right now in shutting down the country, shutting down the government, that is speaking truth to power because it's willing to risk. They're saying like, we understand that this is a risk and that there is harm that will come from it, but that it is more harmful and worse to just acquiesce again. You know,
and it's hard because the risk is increasingly large, and it's getting larger. I saw before I was to hang out with said friend, I was looking at my phone, and the headline popped up that a UNC Chapel Hill professor had been put on administrative leave for being a part of an anti-fascist, anti-racist group. And I was like, and then I repeated this phrase to my friend who's in the medical field, and she goes, I thought that was a good thing. And I said, me too. And so I didn't deep dive into the article. I don't know anything else about it. It just popped up. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, you get people like Judith Butler at UC Berkeley getting put on a list for being anti-Semitic, and she's a very open Jew. Like, I don't, it's
concerning when
it's concerning.
I think back to when like the boogeyman of Antifa was first brought up, and everybody's like, it's Antifa, and I was like, firstly, like, Antifa, it's not an organization. There's no head. There's nothing. Like, Trump keeps saying something about like anyone who donates to Antifa, and I'm like, but you can't. You literally can't. It doesn't exist, right?
It's like it's like the Red Scare all over again. It's like,
well, yeah, well, and there was an organization that worked against the Red Scare that has just reopened. They're like, we're back because apparently we have to do this again. But the thing that kept, and this was again way back when this whole thing started with Antifa, is I kept thinking, like, why did we shorten its name? Because now people don't know that it stands for anti-fascist, which we should all be. Like, we should just, as a country,
and anti-racist. So
and
now
anti-racist.
It's like, bad to be
go
anti-racist.
Ahead and say those are two things that we should just be, and we should be comfortable being. And and I think that language is so powerful because by shortening it to Antifa, we allow for people to forget what it's supposed to be and think that it's an organization that they can be mad at. Antifa hired people to do this or that, or Antifa this, like,
it's really just a code name for like basically any sort of liberal progressive thing. And it's like, who is also seen as being really liberal and progressive and counter governmental, the whole civil rights movement, and we weren't mad about that. Like,
well, I mean, like, that's the thing is it's like we're going back and saying, actually, like, I know that we've pretended for the last couple of decades that the whole country agreed that should happen, but actually we're right back to where we were and saying, like, no, it shouldn't, because a whole swath of the United States was anti the civil rights movement when it was going on. And now they get to come back out and be like, yeah, we've always been against this. We've always hated this. I mean, it's like certain people have said on the far right that the civil rights movement should never have happened. Like, this is something people are openly saying here in 2025. And then I'm supposed to be worried about saying, no, I think the civil rights movement was a good thing. But we've landed, like,
it's just it feels like we've gone back in time, but just like not that far back. It's like we've gone back like to the 60s, and it's just like, or even to the 50s, and it's like, so are we going to start calling artists like communists now again? Is that what we're doing? Like, because back then Antifa was you were a communist,
Yeah.
But it was really if you were a hippie, or you were liberal, or you were an artist, or you were whatever. It's just whatever the government decided they didn't want you to be at a given time. And it's like, okay, cool. Are we going to start sending the National Guard to universities, a la Kent State? Like, is that what we're doing?
Yep.
I just probably, and that's the thing, probably. So if they want to shut the government down, then I am sorry to everyone especially people who are losing benefits and stuff. But I fear you would lose more.
You would lose more
in the long term if this doesn't happen.
And many people will lose more. And at some stage, like I said, I feel like what we need to come to grips with, especially those of us who have been either liberal or leftist for the past decade, realizing that we cannot continue to say, well, I'm against these things or I'm standing for these things if we're not willing to speak up and and to put things on the line, you know, like to be able to say, especially for white people, right? We are significantly less at risk every day. And so to be able to say, like, I am not going to just let my minority marginalized friends take all the hits for this, and I'm going to stand up and say, actually, yes, like I also am anti-fascist and anti-racist. Like, I am those two things, with the risk that it comes with, you know, like I have to be able to willingly say those things if I'm going to assume certain qualities of myself. But I think we have
I keep interviewing these people who have been through conversion therapy for my book, and the idea that we would go back to, even, you know, with the LGBTQ plus community, the fact that we would go back to that world is terrifying. Like, this stuff ruined these people's lives. And I mean, not completely, and I don't want to, they're survivors and I want to really highlight their bravery, but like, it was damaging. You know, it is a hugely damaging practice. And the idea that, you know, not just one thing, because of course we've seen the attack on the queer community and trans community that is, I mean, I guess it's always been, they always say sex and gender are the things that always remain at the battleground. And I just think, you know, how are we allowing ourselves to go back to a time where acceptance was, you know, was seen as a sin or something?
Well, and I think too, it's not even that we're going back, because it's always been there, right? Like, the people who've been mad about the civil rights have not gone away. They didn't just revert back to their 1950s selves, but instead what's happened is that we've allowed for those who are racist and fascist and sexist and bigoted in whatever ways, we've allowed them to have such a microphone that they feel comfortable being all of those things loudly. And then they have also, I think, really kind of co-opted this notion that they're for the working class, which they're not, like, at all.
No,
right?
No, they're for the opposite, really.
They're entirely not for the working class. And so the one group of people that they're trying to pretend like they're pro, well, other than like straight white Christians, they're always going to be like pro that somehow. But like, they're saying they're pro the working class while constantly throwing the working class under the bus, and just, but they've co-opted this message to the point where, like, you get people saying things like, well, I voted for him because of the cost of eggs. And it's like, we have to be able to sacrifice the cost of eggs. Like,
also, how's it going?
It's not going, you know, like, your eggs are still really expensive, but also that, I get it. I mean, you and I both don't make very much money. And so, like, we're not sitting here.
I don't know what you mean. As she throws dollar bills,
saying like, you know, money doesn't matter or finances don't matter or whatever. I get it. My family has been poor. Like, I understand that finances and the economy and stuff are going to weigh into people's decisions. But like, at the end of the day, we have to be able to recognize the scope of our decisions, not as being an immediate thing. I'm not going to make decisions because they are in this moment comfortable or because I can see how I'll be rewarded immediately after, but instead thinking like, what does this mean for who I am as a person? What does this mean for the long run of people I care about? Like, how can I
mean, I do know some folks that are fiscally like Republican, and it's very common in my neck of the woods, but it's like, and so that may be their defining thing. And which I would say to you, okay, that's fine. But I joked, how's it going? But it's not happening. Like, if anything, things are getting more expensive. So if that is the thing, and, you know, idealistically, as you were saying just then, I don't want it to be the thing. But if it is the thing, then how's it going? Like, write to your people. Don't vote for them again. If they're not doing what they said they were going to do, then, you know, don't vote for them again. And I will be the first to tell you, I'm not the first, that's a joke. Being a Christian does not mean that you have to vote Republican. They have
No,
co-opted that. They have said
they
that's
have co-opted
Reagan
that.
era politics, and it's
Yeah.
not true. They don't represent. I mean, just look at some of the stuff that's been swept under the rug right now. Like, I'm not saying the Democrats do either, and that's because political parties do not represent religious groups. Repeat it over and over to yourself.
Right. Well, and
Like,
also don't be in a political cult.
don't be in
Be
the
in the
cults
format cult if you want. We're a lovely bunch. But don't be in a
or the
political
Georgia
cult.
Bulldogs. You
Yeah,
can be in
like
our cult.
you should never be a fan of a politician. Politicians are civil servants who are supposed to work for us. They are not
Yep.
supposed to get rich and famous. They are not supposed to be cult leaders. And the mentality that we are supposed to have, this kind of celebrity worship of these politicians, is, again, it has warped so much of this. I don't want to be a fan of a politician. I want them to do what I'm telling them to do.
Yep. And did what they said they were going to do.
And what they said they were going to do. And also, I want them to be concerned for the whole of the country, specifically the people who need that concern. People in poverty, people who are marginalized, people who need health care, people who need...
That sounds a little like Jesus, Christy.
It sounds a little like Jesus.
Are you Antifa?
Apparently, so was Jesus.
And so was Jesus. And I also think when this stuff came out about the Charlie Kirk stuff, that it became such a thing about speech and how we talk to each other and, representative of free speech, and you can say for that what you will. We all acknowledge the tragedy that is anyone getting assassinated or murdered.
Absolutely.
Including the Minnesota representative and her husband and her dog.
And the others who were shot by that man. And
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Also, all of the school shootings that have happened. I mean, we could go through
that happened. I mean,
gun violence is terrible.
Guns are a real problem.
Gun violence is terrible. Nobody should be murdered by guns ever, but also especially on these kind of or the Mormon church that was just shot up.
I mean, we have a serious, and that maybe that's what the politicians should be talking about, but they're not going to do that.
They're not going to do that
because they're busy with culture wars and this is a part of the culture war now, instead of just looking at our numbers and seeing numerically what country is getting shot up the most, what in terms of the quote Western world, and it's ours. It's ours, and it's so significantly larger than other countries.
So significantly, and my family, I come from hunters. There were always guns in my house. Always. They were hunting rifles. But my dad and my brothers hunted my whole childhood. And I am not here to be like, no one should have a gun ever. But something has to be done. Regulations need to be made. We need to be able to stop people from just arbitrarily getting guns constantly. There are certain guns that nobody should have.
Nobody.
The military, maybe even. But
and the excuse that you hear that, we'll take away they'll still have guns. That's not, that actually isn't, that doesn't hold up, because the issue is that the bad guys are already getting the guns.
They're already getting the guns.
And you also, all have guns, and you can't give a gun to a 9-year-old.
If the logic of anything was, well, you can't stop criminals from doing crime, obviously, so why do we have any laws then?
Yeah.
But I talked about this with my dad once. I was like, I remember as a kid that my dad never wore his seatbelt. Never wore a seatbelt.
Oh, no.
And I was really upset about it. And I cried and I was like, you're going to die. Please, I don't want you to die. So he started wearing a seatbelt.
Okay.
But he had grown up, and this was his whole thought process. Is seatbelts didn't even exist when he first learned how to drive. My dad's super old. So this was his thing.
Hey, Mr. Whaley.
He was like, this wasn't a law for a long time, blah, blah. And I was like, but it is a law now, but also it's safety. It's a law for a reason. And people adjusted. And now people wear their seatbelts, right? People generally wear their seatbelts. And I'm like, I get that gun control and gun reform is going to take adjustments and that some people aren't going to be happy about it. But it is, again, it's worth it overall. And it's necessary. And if we're not willing to stop hoarding guns because we think it's okay that literal school children are dying in their classrooms, then we have very, very serious moral issues.
We do.
To discuss.
Forget about
That is
Christianity. This is just basic
This
human
is just
existence.
basic human existence. Cavemen would have been like, hey, let's not have those boom boom sticks because the children are dying. You know, like, this is basic morality. And again, it feels like what we've done is gotten so insular and so, like, right now concerned that we're afraid to speak up about things because, like, I might lose my job.
Yeah, well, all these people are getting fired because they said they made comments, and it's like, that's not about the Kirk stuff and other stuff. And it's like, no, you can't. Don't fire people for opinions. Like, that's for, like, that's, I mean, freedom
that's the
of
First
speech.
Amendment for sure. And also, nobody,
even
like,
Ted
Jimmy
Cruz
Kimmel,
agrees with us. He said this isn't going to work
like,
out
Jimmy
well.
Kimmel never said anything except for stuff about an entirely different aspect of it. And again, like, there have been other people who've gotten fired. Teachers here in Florida are really being put up on blast about not speaking out about this. But, like, I'm very sorry he got killed. It was horrific. I saw that video.
I did not. I
do not like that that's in my head, but I saw it. I think it's horrific. But again, I think it's horrific that anyone dies by this. However, I also think guns need to be regulated. The civil rights movement was a good thing. When I see a black pilot, I'm like, awesome. You are more qualified.
You had to work
than anyone else.
A lot harder to get there, probably because
you had to work your ass off. Right. I am now safer. Like, I think so, as the Quakers here said, hatred is a burden and it is going to ruin us. And that hatred that is being sown, and it's being sown through fear and through individualization. Everything has to be about me. And if anyone seems like they're coming to take my things, I have to hate them. That is an incorrect view of the world. And also, like, it's not real. No one is coming to take my things. Immigrants can.
I'm going to take all. What if I came in and took all your format stuff? including your post, including your poster on the wall.
My poster, you rip that poster off the wall. You take both of my shirts, because FYI, I didn't tell you this earlier, but my mom bought me 2 of these shirts.
Are they the same shirt?
They are the same shirt.
Okay.
I would love to have 2 different shirts, but I have 2 of this very shirt. God bless you, Kathy.
Kathy!
So,
all the Kathys of the world.
But, like, we have to be able to say that even if you came and took all my format stuff, I still wouldn't shoot you with a gun, because, like, that's wrong, you know?
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, and I think they want us so concerned with fighting each other that they're not being held accountable. And each day they just deconstruct and take away, and they're making us into they're making us feral cats, basically.
They are. Yeah, they're making us into feral cats. They're growing richer, they're gaining more power, and they're causing us to fight each other, which is insane. Like, we should not be fighting each other. We should be fighting them.
We should.
And
globally, is there any stuff that stuck out globally outside of our fair country?
Oh, I mean, there was just the 2 people who got stabbed in the synagogue in Manchester. Did you hear about that?
I didn't. Was that recent?
Yep. Was it yesterday?
Great.
Yes.
Not
so
great.
On the holiest day of the Jewish calendar, there was an attack at a synagogue in Manchester, and I think 2 people died, which is horrifying. The rise, this is the thing I will say, there has been a significant rise of anti-Semitism across the world.
Yeah.
And that is also horrific. And
it is.
I want to emphasize that what is happening in Gaza is horrific. But we do not need to become anti-Semitic in our support of Gaza. Like,
yeah, but you can as my Jewish studies friends say, you can criticize governments and countries, and
I want to criticize my government until the day I die. I want the right to do it, and I want to understand that that's my job.
And you can criticize Christian nationalism and not criticize Christianity, because Zionism is not the same as Judaism. Like, those things are not the same. And Israel is not all that Judaism is. And I think
No. And
we
also
have to be critical thinkers in all of this.
Yeah. Many of the Israelis are criticizing their own government.
Right.
Like if we aren't able to at least be as brave as them, like,
right.
You know, like they live there and they're criticizing it. And we should be able to do that as well. And also, again, understand that there's a massive difference between that and hating Jewish people.
100%.
Like, we are not going to start going around. Like, again, just don't hate people. I think that's the end.
But it's also like the Antifa thing is they want to
conflate the two things.
They want to conflate the two. So when they're, if I go back to Judith Butler, who's a gender social, she's a sociologist, but does stuff with gender and sexuality stuff. She's a UC Berkeley, a Jew, but she criticizes the Israeli government. Well, all of a sudden she's getting put on this anti-Semitic list. And it's like, that's very similar to speaking out about, and, you know, being anti-racist or anti-fascist. And then all of a sudden you're a part of this Antifa group that is imaginary, that is like some, again, Red Scare thing. And it's like they want to conflate the two because it means that they can put you in this corner and that they can discredit the words that you say because you're a part of some sort of negative imaginary organization. And it's something to be aware of, is that you're allowed to talk. That's why we live here. Like, you're allowed to speak up.
I am genuinely a big fan of our Constitution. Like, I'm a fan of the First Amendment. I'm a fan of the ways that this country attempted to, like, form itself to be for the people, right? Like, that was the intentions there. And the idea is that the government is supposed to be serving the people, not the other way around. And it's also, I was teaching about Shinto today, and one of the interesting things about Shinto is that you can bring up the ways that Shinto was used and twisted in order to support imperialist Japan and the ways that they committed such atrocities during World War II. And like, at the same time, you also get to then show that the point here isn't that Shinto is evil or that, you know, all of those people in Japan were evil, but that religion was used to do evil things, right? And so again, what we have to do, and I told my students this today, is like, be critical and critically think about the ways that you understand your own religion, the ways that you understand religion's interactions with the government. Because when religion and government become bed partners, bad things happen.
Yep.
And to be able to say, like, I love Jesus, and, you know, I really appreciate and love many of the freedoms that the Constitution has granted me. The freedom of religion, the freedom of speech. That the Army can't live in my house is great. I don't want them in my
pretty
house.
good. That's a pretty good one.
It's a pretty good one, you know? But like, I also have to be able to be aware and thoughtful when stuff is being told to me that is a perversion of those things. Like,
right, like the right to bear arms, like, is
the right to bear arms is I think the biggest one, because it's like, the right to bear arms is not an unfettered access to automatic weapons. And we need to be able to understand that you have a right to go hunting and have controlled, regulated access to those kinds of weapons, without saying that everybody can just have whatever gun they want all times, because we clearly have a giant issue, you know? Like, it's
and it's funny how quickly we'll dismantle some bits of the Constitution and how steadfast some people hold to other aspects of it.
Well, no, especially that one. It's like,
yeah, that one.
Let's get rid of free speech because we don't like what some people are saying, but like, God forbid you take any of my guns. And
it's not saying that people on the left don't do that as well. We certainly do, I would argue. But it's also saying, look around and see what's happening. Like,
yeah, be aware of the ways that you're being manipulated.
And people who are dying.
Yeah, people are dying, and at some point, like, I understand on a level the idea of being fiscally conservative, but like, if the concept of, like, I have to vote for somebody And even if they were going to actually lower your taxes, right? And like do those things, but it meant that all gay people were going to get murdered. Like you being like, but I want lower taxes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not okay with that. I'm going to go ahead and say
WWJD.
that we should not vote for people to get murdered, you know, like
yeah,
there
even oppressed in any.
or
I mean,
yeah,
people
like
might
there
hear that and
has
be
to be
like,
a line.
"There's no murder happening." Well, not yet.
There
No, there's not.
is, yeah.
I mean, and there, yeah, right there, and
There
there is,
right?
based on the many slew of things, medical things, and also prejudice. Of course, people were dying, but I mean, if people counter back and say, well, that's the thing that's most important. It's like the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
you got to start with your base. And if you don't have, food and running water, then, that is what I'm going to vote for. And I do know a lot of people in Georgia, especially that would argue that, like, we can get to the social stuff when we get to the basic needs. And so I have heard that. And I think they don't think about the social stuff because it doesn't affect them directly. That's the individualistic part of it. And I do think that it's hard to break through that because you have to have that in order to survive. But my argument is that Republicans at this stage aren't, and maybe not even Democrats, I don't know, are not doing that for us right now.
No,
Like they're not
nobody's doing
even
that. Nothing
no
is.
one's doing it.
The needle's
So
not budgeting, you know, like
right.
we are just constantly paying more and more and getting paid the same, right? Like nothing about wages is going up, but everything else is going up. And then being told like just be grateful for
Right.
your access to guns, essentially. And I'm like, but I'm not.
And Jesus.
But
And
I'm not.
Jesus in the classrooms.
You know, let's pretend like somehow no one was allowed to be Christian before. Everybody was Christian. It was fine. We were all doing just fine. Nobody was.
People weren't baking cakes for gay people. What a time to be alive.
Oh my gosh!
If only we'd known.
If only we had known. Oh my god. It's just a.
And also, we don't know how to talk to each other anymore. Like, yeah. I think that I know I don't think this. I know this. I'm probably more conservative in some ways than Christy, and still on the left, like clearly based on this conversation. But I would, I think there's some things that maybe I lean a bit more right than you do on certain issues. But it's like we've completely forgotten how to talk to each other, and they're making that gap wider.
Yeah.
And then that's on purpose.
Yeah.
They don't want people, because there's power in numbers. So if we actually did start, holding, truth to power or whatever, then all of a sudden each other, we're not the enemies. The people aren't the enemies. Even if you did vote Republican, even if you did vote for Trump, even if you did vote fiscally, whatever. If we were actually able to be like, you know what? None of us are getting anything out of this. Nobody. Who is winning right now other than very rich people?
Yeah.
Well, because if you think you are, I would say I'm not. Let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
Because I don't think so.
I do think that one of the first thing we need to do is to be able to talk to each other. And you know what's not helping is social media. Because, and I saw a bunch of this.
Mamas, get off the Facebook.
I saw a bunch of this right after Kirk died, was that the things that you and I see about him and the things that our Republican friends see about him are two entirely different people.
That's right.
And so we're not getting the same information. So when I say he said that Black women are not cognitively able to achieve high positions of power, you're like, where did he say that? He loves Jesus, right? Like,
or was taken out of context, or it was
whatever. But like, we're not getting the same thing. So the rage is being fed by social media, right? It is. And then also, and I just saw this today, that some study is come out that watching short videos is destroying our brains 5 times faster than alcohol.
Well, I'm both happy and upset about that.
I know. I was like, so bring on the booze.
That's
good news. But also,
feeling the way I feel today, that is upsetting and happy at the same
very
time.
Bad news. But also, and I went to a talk recently where this man talked about how we feed our subconscious kind of like junk food. but then your subconscious thinks that's what you like. So if you're at the end of the day, you're like tired and whatever, and all you do is doom scroll, then when you're tired, your brain is going to say, oh, you should doom scroll. You like that. Right? But if you train yourself to, like, when you're tired, go read a book or go sit outside or talk to your spouse or whatever, then when you're tired, your brain is going to say, do those things. Right? And so, like, we can fix this. We just have to stop scrolling, you know, and then the more, and we say it jokingly, but like the more we actually go outside and touch grass, the more we realize, like, yeah, it's not a right versus left. It's a class war, and the upper class is killing us.
Yep.
Quickly.
And they're using religion as fuel.
And they're using religion
as fuel. It's almost like it's bad theology.
Oh, but like it's using religion as fuel, and it's using hatred and fear as fuel, and it's using scarcity as fuel. It's saying, if you let that immigrant have that cookie, you won't have any cookies. And they have 10 million cookies. And you're like, you know, what? They are not, the billionaires are the problem.
Eat the rich. Yeah, I think we've come full circle, because you said touch grass, and at one stage I was talking to Christy about the format, and I told her she should maybe go out and touch some grass. We were deep diving into like social media conspiracy theories about bands, and I was like, it's maybe time.
It's maybe time. But it's true. Like, you know, I think it's important to be able to say, because how many people aren't able to pull themselves out of that? You know? Like, and you know, I like Taylor Swift. But like, there are people out there who are insane. And I mean that in clinical terms about her, right? Like, but they can't get themselves out of the conspiracy. Or like people who've gone deep into like QAnon and all of that. Like, they are actually incapable of pulling themselves out of that, and we just make it worse.
And banning books is not going to help, because what that does is it gives you, it's like little pinpricks to your bubble, is when you read books, and the ones they don't want you to read are not going to tell 3-year-olds about being gay or whatever they think is happening. It's reading books like To Kill a Mockingbird. It's our banned book group. It's the books that we have read that shaped who we were, and also shone a light on the country that we live in. And this idea of taking stuff out of like museums that talk about slavery, like, that's an insane thing. Like, what do you mean? Is. Like, they're basically wanting you to stay in that doom scroll bubble so that you don't. They don't want anything that's, and if something comes and the little pin pricks your bubble and it causes injury to your bubble, they're gonna label it Antifa, or they're gonna label it whatever, communist, blah blah blah, like trans stuff. You know, they're going after trans people right now, like, so hard, and they're gonna say, oh, it's making your kids gay, or it's like whatever the thing like that. And in the meanwhile, the books are just trying to help you get outside yourself in a way.
They're trying to help you understand the world. And like, the more perspective you get and the more empathy you build, which is what books do, they help you build empathy. The more that you are able to say, like, hey, I can sacrifice this $5 carton of egg in order to help my neighbor who is being captured by ICE and put in a fucking concentration camp, you know, like,
and to acknowledge that that's what we're doing. We are a country that's doing that.
We are doing that.
We're tearing families apart. We're doing it. We
have masked people, kidnapping people on the street.
We're sending troops to Portland.
Right.
To Portland.
You know what I've been watching recently, which is so ironic. I've been watching Portlandia recently. Put a bird on it. I love Portlandia. I watch it like intermittently, because it's not really a show that you're like gonna sit down and binge watch, but like,
the 90s are alive in Portland, Christy.
And
it's my favorite.
I was watching it before, and then he was like, Portland, and I was like,
what?
Portland?
It's a bunch of hippies.
I've been there. I'm here to tell you that Portland is not the place you need to be sending.
There was a bunch of stuff that went viral that was like, again, this is our bubble, about Portland people reacting to that. And they were just like, they were at like a farmer's market. Yeah. In their like organic shoes. And they were like, is that the National Guard? What are they What are they doing?
I saw this one that was like a Portland barista, and the ICE comes in to get, or the National Guard or whoever comes in to get a coffee, and the barista is like, "Oh, you only want a splash of milk," and then they pour like half the cup of milk and like give them a, like this is what Portland is doing to you.
Yeah,
they're giving
so
you
ridiculous.
whole milk instead of oat milk or something.
You're gonna get diarrhea hard. That's what Portland.
That's what you're gonna
you.
get. But like,
it
was
yeah.
Oh my god, it was such ironic timing, because then I was like, Portland.
I mean, it was, but they did say, and again, this is something to keep in mind and to be aware of, is that Trump was going to send the National Guard. First of all, the president shouldn't be sending the National Guard to any city at all. Just at all.
The military should not be
at his disposal.
Harassing American, like, that's just, the whole thing is insane. Yeah.
But he didn't send it to Memphis. He was going to do Memphis.
He was.
And then he was going to do DC, and then it was the Memphis, but has a Republican, Tennessee, and so he did it, and now he's going to Portland. So again, keep in mind the cities. Again, this isn't. You'll be like, well, these cities are overrun with.
Also, the
crime.
footage that he was
Portland.
using. It's Portland. The footage he was using, let's just be clear, was from 2020. Portland is not currently experiencing any of that. The footage that he's like referencing were the protests from 2020 during Black Lives Matter protests.
Which, by the way, you're allowed to protest as well.
You are allowed to protest. We have the right to protest, which I'm also a fan of. I signed a affidavit saying that I would uphold the Constitution, and I want to make it very clear that that is what we're doing right now. We are upholding all sorts of rights.
Which freaked me out when I saw it.
It was the weirdest moment of my life, and the lady...
She had to get it notarized.
Had to get it notarized, and she was like, "What is this?" And I said... And then I found out that it has to do with
Florida.
the Red Scare.
Oh.
Yep. So, anyway, but freedom of speech, freedom of religion, keeping that military out of my house, freedom of protest, the right to assembly is what it is. Like, this is supporting our Constitution. So if you are patriotic in any way, like James Baldwin says, if you love your country, your heart should break for it. That was the wrong way around, but...
Yeah. If your country's not breaking your heart, you don't love it enough or something like that.
There you go. Yes, it's that one. Yeah.
And it's hurting. Mine's hurting.
It's hurting.
And I'm trying to forget that I live in a house with a man with a British passport. Truly and truly.
I have been offered some escape routes, but this is the thing. Like, I genuinely do love this country. Me too. And I want it to not be the way that it is at this moment.
Same. So we got to do something. I mean, and they're very actively trying to make it something that doesn't happen. And you just gotta. I can't explain. I'm currently doing that book on queer theology and conversion therapy, and I can't tell you how many people have looked at my resume and say, take the gay stuff off for public schools.
I mean,
and I'm like,
yeah, like, I mean, as we've said many times now, Florida is not the place in general, but like, there are a number of things that I have been told.
Christy might have a will work for food sign up in her door.
Yeah, this might be it for me. But like, that's
okay. She'll move to North Carolina.
Very honest and like, this is a genuine, sincere moment. When we had talked about doing this episode, I got nervous. I was like, I don't know if I should, because it is real. Like, people really are getting fired.
They are.
And then I was like, nope, because also I've done it before. I got fired from a job for standing up for my beliefs.
You did?
I've been here before, and I am better off for having gotten fired from that. And if it has to happen again, it has to happen again. But I don't think that
honestly,
I enjoy my job. So.
I enjoy the job for you.
But if this is what I get fired for,
I was gonna say, if speaking truth to power is what you get fired for, then I mean, one, it'll be badass, and you'll be a martyr amongst us all. But also, like,
I'll be like, this is the second time, you guys, like,
and then I'll be like, I just had a room come free, which I did actively think about at my friend's house. So And it's right down the road.
I want to emphasize that I am incredibly privileged to have quite a large amount of support. Like, I know that if I did, that I have you and I have a lot of other people who would be like rallying around me, and that is.
I'd have to fight the Colorado girls over you.
But that is an incredible privilege to have when you're risking things that a lot of people 100%. Don't have that risk so much more than I am risking at this moment. But
and we're not immigrants.
We're not immigrants. We're white.
We're right.
Yep. We're Christian.
Christian middle class.
Straight. I mean, we just have a lot of stuff going for us. So
we do.
It's fine. But
I will say, talking to a friend, our mutual friend of ours, who is, in the queer community, we are the people that need to stand up. People like that are in those positions need to stand up for people who can't do that, or they'll get carted away, or they'll get killed. Exactly. We have to. That's why we have to do it.
I have always sided with my friends who are unable to take such liberties. And one of my good friends here in Florida is from another country and brown, and she is living in a lot of fear right now. And so I certainly am not gonna pretend like this tiny step I've taken is anything like what she's experiencing.
No. And you should realize too, we had the No Kings protest in Charlotte that was against Trump. And there were 4 of the people that I'm quite close to. One who was born in America but is brown, and whose family are from Latin America. One person who's still going through the process that is from India. Another person who today passed her test to be a citizen, but is from New Zealand. Yeah. And then Stuart, who's white, but he did just get his.
But he did just get citizenship.
Yeah, he did. And so they were like, we were in this group text, and they were like, we don't feel like we should go to this. That's a protest. Some of these people are Americans that don't, just because of the color of their skin or their recent status, feel like they can't do their constitutional, duty, essentially. Yeah. Yeah. And that's scary.
That's what my friend said. There were a number of things that she was like, I'm avoiding this part of town right now because there's a protest, or various, she's just kind of, and she's legally here. I want to stress.
Yeah. Yes, all of the people I mentioned are legally here.
She's legally here. She has permanent residency. She's got a year left before she can do the citizenship test, but she's on that route. She's doing everything correctly. She's PhD. She's here on a one of those special visas that
highly skilled worker.
Yeah. She should be fine, but she's not,
Nope.
Nope. And she's the loveliest person.
She is
so lovely. And
she's wonderful. And a lot of these people are trying to, they set up camp outside the citizenship court where Stuart got sworn in Charlotte. ICE did, to get people who are keep in mind, trying to do this legally.
The correct way.
By the way, this is not a cheap process.
It's not. It's so
tens
expensive.
Of thousands of dollars to get to this point. And, and they are there doing it the right way and going through the courts.
Would you like to know how my great-grandparents entered this country in
a whiskey jar?
It was 1920 or something like that. They just took the boat. That was it.
Signed in at Ellis and was like, I'm
here now.
Yep. Neither
of them spoke English. My great-grandmother did become a citizen, but my grandfather didn't. I met these people. I have a picture of me and her, and they did not a damn thing. They just got to live here.
Bought a ticket.
Okay? They bought a ticket on a boat, and they got on the boat, and then they came over here, and then that's what they did. They lived here, and this was not that long ago. So let's stop pretending like all of this is.
We're not a country of mutts.
Right? How dare those immigrants. That's who we all are. Yep. Most of us. There are a handful. You've got some.
It's not helping me with the side of my hair right now, though. I'll tell you. I'll tell you that real quick.
That we're just from here, but yeah,
that's but the majority of my genetics are not from here.
Yeah,
or not from here.
Yeah. Anyway, we've covered a number of topics.
I think we need to go take a nap.
I think
that may just be, well, now I'm tired. I guess I shouldn't take a nap. I should go run or something. Chrissy, I'm not going to do that. I'll go ahead and tell you that right now.
Go take a shot of whiskey and...
that's an option.
All
right, guys. Yeah.
I'm done with this shirt.
I was going to say,
thanks for joining us.
It also smells like a boy. Oh.
Thanks for joining us on this lovely episode, and we'll be back. Oh, and also 2 important things. Beer camp is coming up, and we're going to be there.
We are?
We're going to do hot ones. We're going to have bracelets. We're going to have our smiling selves. So that's exciting.
I'm doing a panel on liberation theology, which is fun.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
And also our book club is October 22nd. We are doing Boy Erased this month. So if you would like to join our book club, it's the band book club, and it is on our Patreon, which is in the links in our bios. You can do all of that. And it's a very fun time. Everybody enjoys it. So come to us, etc.
All right. Well, have a good one. Speak truth to power. Be careful if you're in these minority groups that we were talking about right now, and we will do what we can do. And that's it. All right. Peace out.
Bye.